If you'd like to make your NFL games a little more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast presented, of course, by DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. For those of you that check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. You can see all the game balls and helmets and everything behind me. It was a fun temp job in my 20s. Ever since then, been doing the media thing, including a bunch of different podcasts. The Ross Tucker Football Podcast is daily, Monday through Friday, 30 minutes or less. Tomorrow, we'll have Ed McCaffrey on the show to talk about coaching. He's a D1 head coach at Northern Colorado, as well as his son, Christian, as you might imagine, with the trade. Thursday, Greg Cosell from NFL Films. Nobody's better at breaking down the tape. Joe Dolan is a stud on the Fantasy Feast podcast. If you play fantasy, whether it's season long or DFS, you got to listen to Fantasy Feast podcast. College Draft podcast, of course. We make our picks against the spread in the 4 biggest games of the week. And you can always see all of our bets on this show simply by becoming a Tuckheads member at patreon.com/RT Media. Steve, I have good news and bad news. Steve Fezzik's the star of the show at Fezzik Sports on social media. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL. We are at Ross Tucker Pod. And Steve, I have good news and bad news. Are you ready?
Talk to me, my man.
The good news is you can hear me. Like, we can talk and have a conversation back and forth after last week. That's major good news. The bad news is we're both down this week. And in fact, Steve, you were down big for the year. For the week, I was down 2 units. You were down 8. For the year, I'm up 12. You are down 3. Now, Steve, we've been doing this. I got to check, but I think 7 or 8 years. Your track record of being, I don't know, up 150 units, whatever it is, more than that, is well documented. When something like this happens, do you change your process at all? Or is this just part of the variance and part of the life of being a professional bettor?
You know, the one thing I'm considering changing, I have never seen a football season with such disparate results, outliers. So we went back and looked at our database. If you looked at every 7-point favorite and higher in the NFL historically, how often do those teams lose by 18 or more points? The answer is almost never. 4 times out of 700, 0.5%. A 1 in 200 occurrence. Tampa Bay and New England both did it just last week. So when you start seeing 1 in 200 outliers happen twice in a week, you start wondering, I don't know why, but you're seeing teams not perform anywhere close to where the expectation is. And because of that, I'm questioning, should I be teasing so many games? Obviously, when we tease things because we expect the result to be close to the mean, and that has not been the case in many games.
You're right. It has not been, and teasers have not been nearly as good for us this year as they've been other years. Taking a look at last week, Saints-Cardinals, I had the Saints in a teaser. You had the Saints in 2 teasers. Steve, they were getting 7.5 points. Andy Dalton throws a pick in the end zone, and then he has 2 pick sixes in the first half, and we still lost by half a point. They lost 42-34. That's just not going to happen very often with 3 picks like that in the first half.
And that game closed 2.5. So if you teased it at post, you won, which is always frustrating because normally we get in front and we get the better of the line move, and we got the worst of the line move in terms of the teaser. So that was frustrating all the way around.
Part of that, I think, was because of the injury news that came out on game day. As a reminder, we record this show on Tuesdays, okay? On Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and everything we do is based on DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's go Giants, Jags, Steve. The Giants were getting 3 on the road. I didn't understand it. I put 2 units on them. They won the game outright by 6. You leaned to the Giants as well. Meanwhile, the Lions and the Cowboys, Lions were getting 7 points. I put 1 unit on it. My buddy Chuck, I can't tell you, he's from Detroit, can't tell you the word that he called me for betting on the Lions, not on this show. I am convinced, Steve, if Micah Parsons doesn't tackle that guy out at the 1-inch line and Jamal Williams scores a touchdown for the Lions to go up 13-10, this bet comes through. That one play changed everything. Micah Parsons being so freaking fast changed everything.
Yeah, that and St. Brown getting concussed didn't help. Certainly, the underlying.
He didn't even get concussed. Did you hear about this? He didn't even get concussed. They just said that they thought he was wobbly. He passed everything, but the new rule that they said he was wobbly after the hit, out automatically.
Well, I would never be able to play in an NFL game because I'm wobbly every morning when I wake up. Bottom line is the stats were close to equal in the game. We can't downgrade Detroit too much, but I'll tell you this. Detroit, nothing but optimism, hard knocks, everyone betting on them preseason, over 7 wins. That has not materialized into good play during the regular season.
I think a lot of people were buying them on Symbol. You guys have heard me talking about them before, but Symbol has their best offer yet to try to get some new users. They're offering listen to this, Steve, a $500 risk-free deposit for new users who join the stock market for sports. When you sign up with code MONEY, your first deposit comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you were hesitant on joining or simply haven't joined yet, now you can do it with a risk-free deposit. I don't know how they're doing this, but as a reminder, Symbol lets you trade pro and college teams like stocks, even earn cash dividend payouts when your team wins. They literally give you a dividend when your team wins. I have some Eagles. They've won every game. Symbol is a peer-to-peer market that took the thrill of sports betting, turned it into the stock market to give fans a new way to speculate on your favorite pro and college teams. Now you can join with a $500 money-back guarantee. Listen to this. Download the Symbol mobile app for iOS by searching SIMBULL in the App Store. Use code MONEY to get your risk-free deposit up to $500. Whether you want to invest in an up-and-coming team like the Giants, you want to buy low on the Lions, or the new top dog, the Buffalo Bills, Symbol allows you to buy and sell team stocks and profit from your sports knowledge. Knowledge wasn't good with the Lions. Lost a unit there. Packers, Commanders. I leaned Commanders. They won outright. Bucks, Panthers. I leaned Panthers. They won outright. Very annoyed. I didn't actually take either one of those bets. Falcons, Bengals might be over for my Falcons, Steve. They were very good to me. They won against the spread 6 times. They were getting 6 points, which I thought was too long of a line. They made Joe Burrow look unbelievable, which maybe he is. 2 units I lost on the Falcons, Steve. You had a lean to the over in that game, which hit easily. It was 47.5. Bengals won 35-17.
Bengals are a whole new team now that the O-line with its new pieces are gelling. Burrow's 100%. That's not a team you want to be playing under, and Bengals are an over team.
Browns, Ravens. I leaned Browns. You leaned Ravens first half, but it was just a lean. Didn't come through for you. Did come through for me with the Browns, who might have gotten a raw deal late on a couple calls. They lose by 3, but we were getting 6.5. So they covered. That's what matters. Colts, Titans. Wow. You put 2 units, Steve, on the Colts, getting 2.5. I had the Colts in 2 teasers, Colts Patriots and Colts Saints. I guess I take some comfort in all the teasers lost. So it's not like one made the difference. But again, Colts getting 8.5. Matt Ryan, 2 of the worst interceptions I've ever seen, including a pick 6. And then Michael Pittman fumbles late when we were about to get the backdoor cover. Brutal, Steve. Brutal.
Not to mention Tennessee up 6, completes an uncompletable pass late in the game down the field that dude catches maybe 1 out of 10 times.
Austin Hooper, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Gosh.
And then you lose a teaser when a game lands 9 by half a point, and 9 never lands. So it's just one of those weeks.
Texans, Raiders. I lean Texans getting 7. Somehow they played well. Like Davis Mills played well. Other than the pick 6, they lost by 18. Jets, Broncos. I put 2 units on the Jets, getting 3 points. They won outright again, 16-9. Jets, Giants, Falcons, Seahawks have been very good to me. You leaned Jets. Chiefs, Niners. I leaned to the Chiefs, laying the 3. They won by 20, Steve. 20. They embarrassed the Niners on their home field. Seahawks, Chargers. I kind of wimped out. I only put 1 unit on the Seahawks. Again, Steve, here's an example. They're getting 6.5. They win by 14. Stuff like that does not happen very often in the NFL.
You know, there's a big survivor contest, $6 million first prize at Circa. We started with more than 6,000 people. Just pick a winner each week. How hard can that be? And they've done this in previous years. One year there was 35 winners. One year there was only 6 winners. And now there's a lot more entries than there ever has been. Ross, they're down to like 100 people left. There has been carnage in Survivor. This thing may not make it to Christmas. And one lucky dude is going to walk away with $6 million, the biggest sports betting prize in the history of Nevada. It has just been a completely unpredictable year.
Well, that's a kind of a sore subject because I'm in a pool and there's a decent amount of money in it, decent amount of people in it, less than double-digit people already. I had the Patriots last night, Steve. I had the Patriots.
I too had the Patriots.
You won't convince me, okay, that Belichick didn't lose that game on purpose because he knew about my Survivor pick. You'll never be able to convince me otherwise. Steelers, Dolphins, I'm kidding. I lean Steelers. They covered by a point. You laid the 7 with the Dolphins, Steve. 2 units. You lost. I forgot to mention, by the way, you should have lost by more probably. I mean, the Steelers dropped like 4 interceptions. Your over hit in Chargers Seahawks for 2 units. Forgot to mention that. Patriots, Bears. We both had the Patriots in a number of teasers. You had them in 2 teasers. I had them in 1. I cannot believe the Bears whipped that you-know-what last night on national TV. Again, I was down 2 units for the week. You were down 8. For the year, I am up 12. You are down 3. No best bets last week to speak of. Better times are ahead, Steve. Speaking of better, there is a better way to invest, and that better way is signing up with my link. You'll learn how to get up to $200 of free shares. Listen, life after the NFL, it hits you fast, right? Did for me. Got to get your money in order. The market has been rough. Masterworks is actually gaining value the last time inflation caused this much damage. It's one of only 3 things to do so. Masterworks lets you invest in fine art from legends like Picasso by breaking it into shares. Even as recently as October, Masterworks produced results, selling a painting for a 21.5% net return to their investors. So learn how to get up to $200 in free shares from Masterworks when you sign up with our special code MONEY. That's masterworks.com, promo code MONEY for up to $200 at Masterworks. Diversify your portfolio. See important Regulation A disclosures at masterworks.com/CD. Steve, we start with Thursday night. It is the Ravens on the road in Tampa, and the Ravens are the favorites, laying 1.5. What are you doing?
Yeah, and let me clarify. I come in on Tuesday, talk about who I like. During the week, I give out plays to my clients at pregame.com. Those plays oftentimes don't match with new information, etc. But last week, Ross, I assure you I lost for my clients at pregame. There was no aberration. There was consistency, consistent losing. Some finished up with the teasers on New England. So hopefully we do better this week. We're going to lead off with a play here. 2 units. I don't want these Ravens for the game. Ravens stink in the fourth quarter. Can't explain why they always get double-digit leads and then collapse. Maybe it's just the flukiness of the offense. It takes the defense some time to adjust to it. That would be magnified playing an opponent that they don't see but once every 4 years. Bottom line is, I don't like anything I'm seeing from Tampa Bay. I'm going to play Baltimore in the first half, avoid the fourth quarter. Money line, -120, 2 units, Baltimore first quarter.
Interesting. Is that what the line is usually? -120?
For a 1.5 point favorite, it would be like a half point for the first half, but the money line is far preferable. So many first halves land tied. You do not want to lay a half or lay 1, which it is at DraftKings right now. You want to take the money line in the first half. For the game, it really doesn't matter much. For the first half, it matters a lot.
I'm teasing the Bucks up to 7.5. They can't be this bad. They cannot be this bad. They're playing at home. It's a Thursday night. I mean, they were just embarrassed, although they were embarrassed twice in a row. I don't know. I'm teasing them with the New Orleans Saints. Bucks are up to 7.5. They're not going to get blown out at home. They can't, right? And I'm pairing it with the Saints, who also are not going to get blown out at home against the Raiders. Bucks plus 7.5, Saints plus 8. I am a teaser believer. I'm sticking with it. 2 units. Let's get to Broncos, Jaguars, another London game. The Jags are once again 3-point favorites. This time against the Broncos. We don't know for sure who will be the quarterback for Denver. They were acting like and sounding like it was going to be Russell Wilson again.
I think it's going to be Russell Wilson also. We saw a power move that Jacksonville blipped up to -4. Then it dropped to 3. I think folks know it's likely to be Wilson. That's why money came in on Denver. I'm going to lean over in this game. I know Denver's a dead nut under team, but the Jaguars last week, 900 yards total offense. That was a miracle that game went under. So many red zone turnovers by Jacksonville, giving the game to the Giants, and then the final play getting to the 1-yard line. I'm going to lean over 39.5.
The total, by the way, Ravens-Bucks was 45. My bad for not mentioning that. Steelers-Eagles, the Battle of Pennsylvania, and I'll actually be there, which I'm really looking forward to. I go to like 1 game a year with my wife after I do the pregame show. Sit in the stands, have a few beers, enjoy just being a participant at the game. The Steelers are getting 10.5. The total is 43.5, Steve.
Yeah, I've got nothing on this game. Like you mentioned before, the Steelers played very well against Miami. So that's back-to-back solid performances. Eagles might be a little bit happy, drunk off of their bye week, undefeated. If I had to bet it, I'd lean Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm going to put 2 units on the Steelers. I wonder what the Eagles are like coming out of their bye. You know, maybe they're rusty. Maybe they get off to a sluggish start. I like what I'm seeing from the Steelers defensively. They played very well. This feels to me like, I don't know, 23-13 Eagles, 20-13 Eagles. So 2 units, Pittsburgh getting the 10.5, and you can get in and maybe see me at the game. Right now it's $312. Wow. Hot ticket. Battle of Pennsylvania there on the Game Time app. At least with the Game Time app, they guarantee you're getting the lowest price on tickets to any of your favorite sports, concerts, shows. Just get the Game Time app on your phone and then type in the city where you live and see what's available. I love it. I have an account. I have not redeemed the code money for $20 off my first purchase yet, so I could get into the game for even cheaper. Again, that's money for $20 off your first purchase. Look, I can go to Net Sixers. I can get in. Wow, the prices for the World Series, over $1,000 for all the World Series games. That's amazing. Download Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. The Dolphins are, by the way, the total for that game was 43.5. Ooh, I kind of like the under in that one, Steve. Now that I think about it, 43.5.
Kenny Pickett's a gunslinger. He could throw a pick six. He's I'm not as excited about unders with the quarterback change.
Got it. Interesting. Okay. Dolphins, Lions. Lions are getting 3 points at home. Totals 50.5 for his team in the Lions that hasn't been able to score the last couple of weeks, and the Dolphins D has been good.
Yeah, that total sure looks high to me. Can the Lions really be this bad that they're going to be a no-show throughout the season? I will lean to the Lions, but you know what? I think if you wait, you're going to get a 3.5.
If it hits 3.5, it's a play. Just a lean.
I'm going under. The Dolphins defense is pretty good. The Lions defense played better. I'm going under 2 units, 50.5 for the Dolphins and the Lions. How about the Cardinals and the Vikings, Steve? The Cardinals are getting 3.5 in Minnesota. Totals 49.
So the Vikings are fugazi. Vegas knows they're no good. I don't care what the record is. But you know what? If I know it and Vegas knows it, you can't make money off of it because Minnesota has a solid home field. It's worth almost 3 points. So basically, the market's telling you Minnesota's 1 point better than Arizona. That doesn't feel right. Arizona's no good, So the fact that the Vikings are only laying 3.5, there's no value here. Here's a game I do think we're going to see plenty of scoring. I'm going to go over for 2 units.
The total is 49. Okay, going over. Well, there was certainly a lot of points in the last one. I'm going to go in on that with you. Arizona, Minnesota, over 49, 2 units, best bet.
The best bet.
I don't think I've done any total bets yet this year, and now I've already taken an under and an over this week. Interesting. Raiders and the Saints. I already teased the Saints up to +8, Steve, for 2 units, but I'm going to get nuts. The total they're getting 2 points are the Saints. The total is 48.5. I'm going to try to middle it, Steve. Is this stupid? I'm going to lay the 2 with the Raiders. I really think the Raiders win a close game. Your thoughts?
Well, it's never incorrect to tease a 2 or 2.5 upwards. Read Stanford Wong, Sharp Sports Betting, talks about advanced teasers. By the way, when you're playing these teasers, you need to play these 6 points at -120 or less. Some books are charging more than that now. You cannot win if you're paying more than -120. So make sure you've got an out, that avails you to that, like DraftKings does. I tell you what, the Raiders are one of the best 2 and 4 teams in the league. Historically, they're playing very well. They're a much above average team. A lot of it is they're running the ball great. And Josh Jacobs being healthy with an aerial attack, I don't want to step in front of the Raiders. I'm going to lean Raiders, just a lean.
2 units on the Raiders, laying the 2. I got 2 bets on that game. What about Panthers getting 4.5 on the road against Atlanta? The total is 42.
I'm not so sure I'm going to buy into Carolina suddenly being a competent team. I know that was a great performance. We thought they were a dead team when they jettisoned McCaffrey out of town. Robbie Anderson doesn't want to be there. Clearly, Carolina, worst team with the 4th string quarterback. PJ Tucker played pretty well, and PJ Walker. And that was a spirited effort. I don't know if that's going to continue. I think Atlanta's somewhat of an undervalued commodity. You know what, though? 42 for an Atlanta game looks awfully low to me. I get it. NFL scoring's way down. I'm still going over. 2 units on the over 42.
Interesting. I'm putting 2 units on the Carolina Panthers. They ran the ball really well. Their defense has been good. And Falcons lose their second best defensive player, A.J. Terrell, with that hamstring. Now, I know that the Carolina doesn't throw it that much anyway, but that's still a big loss. I'm going 2 units on Carolina, getting the 4.5 points. What about the Bears and the Cowboys? Bears are getting 9.5, Steve. Total's 43.
So I was doing podcasting late last night, and I missed the second half of the game, which I'm happy I missed because I would have been rather upset losing my survivor pick. So I can't really speak to why the Bears were able to run the ball so well and shut down the Patriots in the second half. Until I review that, I got to stay off of Bears games. I'm going to pass.
I'm going to take the Bears. I think they figured something out here with having Justin Fields run the ball more. That is their recipe for success. That is what they have to do. I'm a little bit worried about him getting sacked a bunch against the Cowboys, but the Cowboys' offense is not that great. 9.5. That seems like a lot of points. 2 units on the Bears, getting 9.5 big ones. Patriots are laying 1.5 against the Jets. Totals 41.
So I am privy to some information out there, and I know that one big influencer loves New England in this game. I don't know if his opinion has changed. I haven't spoke to him after the game last night, but if I can get the Jets with catching even more points, I would be very interested right now in the Jets and teasers. I don't want to fire yet because I think I'm going to get more points. And so let me wait, and I'll tease the Jets later in the week. And if by some miracle it goes to 3, it's not going to 3. But I want to be, 8's become a very key number in the NFL. The analytics people understand now when you're down 14 and you score a touchdown, you go for 2. Everyone's doing it. It's correct. And because of that, with more games landing 8, I don't want to tease to plus 7.5. I'm going to wait for this to get to a 2, and then I'll look to tease the Jets.
I could only lean to a tease for the Jets. No Breece Hall, no Elijah Vera Tucker. That's significant. Don't know what to think about the Patriots right now. I'll just lean to a Jets teaser, like you said, Steve. Titans and the Texans. The Titans are laying 2 on the road. Totals 40.5.
Yeah, so I have to do a teaser with Houston. The Titans, I don't know. It might be Malik Willis, right? If that's the case, I think Houston's going to win the game. It's certainly going to be close. So I'm going to tease Houston from 2 up to 8. I will tease it with the Rams from 1.5 to 7.5. 2-team. You know what? I just talked about how 8 is so important. I'm going to use a 6.5 point teaser. Let me get Houston up to 8.5. Let me get the Rams up to plus 8. 2 teams, 6.5 point teaser, 2 units.
What would be the what would they charge you for that?
Minus 130.
And that's worth it? The half point?
I firmly believe with the prevalence of with more and more games landing on 8, it wouldn't have been worth it 2 years ago, but with the analytics departments finally taking over with this play calling and 2-point conversions, I believe it is.
I like Houston as a teaser leg as well. I don't like the Rams as much, though. So I'm going to take the Houston Texans up to +8. And I don't know who to pair it with, though. I could continue to pair it with either New Orleans or the Bucks, but I don't know that I love either one of those. I like them. I'll go New Orleans. New Orleans and Houston, 2 units on the teaser. So I got the Saints for 2 of them. You better not screw me, Saints. All right, Giants, Seahawks. Giants are getting 3 points on the road again. Totals 44.5.
So think about this. I know Seattle has a fine home field advantage. It's worth almost 3 points. The spread on this game is 3. So Vegas is telling you Seattle is better than the 6-1 New York Giants. The New York Giants just keep getting disrespected. And frankly, I think it's warranted. The Giants, they're not 6-1. They're 3-1. They played 7 coin flips, close games. Very impressive that they were able to win those. I don't believe in clutch. I believe close games split out in the long run, 50-50. I like everything that Seattle is doing. I hate the spot for the Giants where game after game they've won as an underdog. This is a terrible spot. Giants, fly to Florida, fly back to New York. Now go to Seattle. Let me get out my map. Yeah, that's kind of far away from New York. Seattle wins. Seattle covers 2 units. Seattle -3.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not doing that. If anything, I would lean to the Giants getting the 3 points, but it's just a lean. Niners, Rams, you already teased the Rams up to 7.5. No, you went up to 8. You did the 6.5 point teaser at -130. What about the total 42? Any other bet on this game, Steve?
I could only lean under. The Rams are just a dead nut under team. They're still good defensively, and they got one guy on offense. So Cooper Kupp has played tremendously. At some point, if Cooper Kupp gets shut down, the Rams are only going to get 14 to 17 points. And I think the Rams are going to be able to keep the Niners somewhat in check. 20 to 17 game, I would lean under.
The Commanders are playing the Colts. I can only lean, by the way, to the Niners, laying the 1.5. I don't know if I said it already or not. Commanders and Colts. Commanders are getting 3 points on the road in Indy. Totals 40. It's Taylor Heineke against Sam Ehlinger, Steve.
Sure looks like a recipe for an under to me. I know it's a low total, but the Colts are a dead nut under team. And now they've downgraded at quarterback. They might be more excited about it, but I don't believe in Sam Ehlinger. And, Washington on their backup quarterback. So a case maybe both teams are happier with the quarterback changes, but neither one of the quarterbacks is any good. I'll go under 2 units.
I'll just lean under. I don't know. I think they're going to have Ehlinger run a lot. I don't know that Washington's going to be ready for that. Heineke's good for a pick 6. Probably just lean, potential 6, just a lean to the under for me there. Packers and the Bills. The game is Sunday night. It's in Buffalo. And the Packers are getting 10.5 points. 10.5 in Buffalo, where the fans will be drinking Labatt Blue all day. Football season means it's Labatt Blue Light season. That's my beer of choice, certainly when I'm up in Buffalo, but really anywhere where they have it. There's no better way to watch your team on game day than with the pristine Canadian goodness of a cold Labatt Blue Light in hand. I am convinced it's colder. I don't know how they do that. Stock up and be the MVP of your tailgate and share a Labatt on game day with your crew. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. What do you got, Steve? Packers getting 10.5, totals 47.
So highly technical analysis here. The Bills, they're going to kill them. This is not the best thing that could happen for the Packers. Packers are no good. Normally when you have a 10.5 point favorite, pregame, you have a couple of bats, you take the game for granted. Ross, you've been there. You've been that big favorite. where you're like, well, workmanlike effort, we'll get the win. I'm playing somebody like Jacksonville, but you're playing the Green Bay Packers. They're still going to wear that Green Bay uniform. Buffalo's going to be looking for the kill shot here. Bills by 17. I lean Bills.
Wow. Man, I lean Green Bay. That's a lot of points. It'll just be a lean, but I'll lean Green Bay. 10.5 points in the NFL. Just a lean to Green Bay for me. What about Monday night? Fitting teams. 2 orange teams on Halloween. It's Halloween. The Bengals are laying 3 points against the Cleveland Browns. Total's 47.5.
So the Bengals are good. Very good right now. The O-line is finally starting to gel. Cleveland is still struggling and a below-average team. Cincinnati hates Cleveland, by the way. I don't think Cleveland's fond of Cincinnati. So good Ohio rivalry. The Bengals, who dat beat the Bengals on Halloween? Bengals 2 units -3.
Interesting. Yeah, that's boy, that certainly feels that way, doesn't it? I'm going to go with you on that one. Cincinnati -3, 2 units. Browns are kind of a mess now. Bengals look like they got it figured out. That's the best bet to end the show.
The best bet.
Check him out on social media at Fezzik Sports. Check me out at Ross Tucker NFL. Check us out at Ross Tucker Pod. You can always watch the show, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL, or see the highlight clips of the other shows. Other than that, good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for listening to the Even Money Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, The Fantasy Feast, Business of Sports, and the College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, rosstucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.